Look at your screens. Look at the number of Congress young guns who have exited the party. Barring Captain Amrinder Singh in the corner, viewers, what is common about all of those who have quit the Congress just like R.P.N. Singh has done today? They're all leaders that were being groomed for future leadership by the Congress party. Yes, viewers, the troubles for the Congress party and its supreme leaders, the Gandhis, have deepened exponentially. It's not just long-standing satraps like Captain Amrinder Singh or Himanta Biswa Sarma, but even Gen Next leaders that no longer believe that it is the party of the future. This became very apparent today, viewers, when R.P.N. Singh dumped the Congress, dumped the Gandhis and embraced Modi's Bharatiya Janata Party, saying that it's Modi's dynamic leadership that is revolutionizing Uttar Pradesh as well as the face of the country, and he wants to be associated with a party that's going places, which has a vision. Now, viewers, the one-time Gandhi loyalist, remember, he was also handpicked as one of the young guns to join the UPA. At that time, he was Minister of State for Home. And viewers, he was handpicked by Rahul Gandhi and his big team of advisors to be part of the change. Well, viewers, let me tell you that this man, disillusioned, today said that the Congress party he joined 3 decades back is not the same Congress party as today. At that time, the Congress had leaders with vision, leaders that had a mass base, and most importantly, leaders that could define the future course of Indian politics, and that is not the case under an unresponsive and viewers, most importantly, a fast-losing Popular Connect Gandhi family. The hammer blow has just come a day after R.P.N. Singh was included amongst the star campaigners of the Congress in the state of Uttar Pradesh. What does this tell you, viewers? That the Congress leadership has no clue about the extent to which young leaders, other important functionaries of the party are disaffected with it. Otherwise, why would they have named him as a star campaigner? Today, he is being accused, viewers, of sabotaging the party in Jharkhand, where he was apparently in charge. If that was the case, why did Priyanka Gandhi Vadra make him a star campaigner in Uttar Pradesh? If he was sabotaging Jharkhand, would he not have sabotaged in Uttar Pradesh? It's a fundamental question. Listen to what R.P.N. Singh said, however, today as he began to exit the party.
As in my statement to the press, I said, this is the party I worked for 32 years. It's not the party which I worked for. It is not the same thought process of this party, and that is why I have left this party and I have joined a party which thinks about nation building, which thinks about delivery of schemes, and which has proven on the ground that poor people, whatever problems they have, be it of food, be it of housing, be it of electricity, be it of toilets, they have delivered and shown. We have seen on the ground in the last 5 years in Uttar Pradesh.
R.P.N.'s exit, viewers, confirms and continues the trend of a caste of young guns like Jitin Prasada, Aditya Singh, Jyotiraditya Scindia, Priyanka Chaturvedi and Sushmita Dev to leave the party. Some, of course, went to the BJP, others went to the Shiv Sena, even the TMC. All of them were being groomed for future leadership roles. They were in important positions in the Congress party. The Congress is, of course, in its trademark style, heaped scorn and fired barbs. Listen to this.
The kind of fight that the Indian National Congress is putting up all across the country, and particularly in a state like Uttar Pradesh is a battle against the government's resources. You have to fight it with courage. You have to fight it with a lot of dedication. I don't think this is meant for the coward. And like Priyanka ji has said, you need to be on your toes. You need to be full of courage. You cannot be a coward and fight this battle.
अच्छा हुआ आरपीएन जी भी चले गए, लगातार पार्टी को नुकसान पहुंचा रहे थे और सिर्फ उत्तर प्रदेश में नुकसान नहीं पहुंचा रहे थे, झारखंड के वो प्रभारी थे और झारखंड में भी वो कांग्रेस को नुकसान पहुंचा रहे थे। तो उन्होंने बड़ी कृपा की कि वो भारतीय जनता पार्टी में चले गए, नुकसान पहुंचाने की ये प्रवृत्ति उनकी कायम रहे और वहां भी वो अपना काम करते रहे।
ये इलेक्शंस दा टाइम जेड़ा ਇਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰੇ ਲੋਕ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਨੇ ਚਲੇ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਨੇ, ਇਹ ਕੋਈ ਨਵੀਂ ਚੀਜ਼ ਤੇ ਹੋਈ ਨਹੀਂ। ਹਰ ਪਾਰਟੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਵੇਖ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ, ਕੋਈ ਆ ਰਿਹਾ ਕੋਈ ਜਾ ਰਿਹਾ, ਕੋਈ ਆ ਰਿਹਾ ਕੋਈ ਜਾ ਰਿਹਾ। ਸੋ
Of course, viewers, during elections, and people can always turn around and ask R.P.N. Singh, why did you wait for so long if the party was in imminent decline and you yourself found yourself on the losing side? Why did you pick this moment to quit the party? But of course, viewers, every politician looks for the exit door at a time when he thinks he will benefit the most. The question now, of course, is whether the BJP will benefit. Here is some facts, viewers, that I can put out there which will help explain what's in it for the BJP to pull in R.P.N. Singh. After Brahmin leader Jitin Prasad, R.P.N. is a key OBC face in UP, and it bolsters BJP claims that they are not in any way being shunned by OBCs. So it reverses the perception that might be building up after a large number of OBC satraps exited the party, that it's not a home for OBCs, it's not attracted for OBCs. R.P.N. Singh's entry will blunt some of that perception. It also shows disarray in Congress as Shifter comes a day after he was made star campaigner, which allows the BJP to continue to suggest that BJP is an alternative for those who want to escape Parivaar, nepotism, Darbari culture, psychophancy, etc. Obviously, it boosts the BJP's OBC vote bank. Even though R.P.N. Singh hasn't won recently 3 elections, he hasn't registered a victory, he does have a significant following in the area around and in Padrauna of the Kurmis, which are an important OBC caste, and every vote, viewers, adds up in a tight contest. And remember, in Padrauna, the Samajwadi Party is fielding Swami Prasad Maurya, who of course left the BJP recently. The fourth takeaway, viewers, it shows a profound lack of faith in Sonia, Rahul and Priyanka's leadership, especially Priyanka, who has come out and launched a visceral attack on the BJP, saying that the party has lost the narrative, Yogi hasn't delivered. Well, this allows the BJP to go back to the people to say, look, Yogi is still an attractive commodity, and even Congress top leaders think so. Now, viewers, let's open this up, because this sets up really an interesting conversation, which we must have, in all honesty, with our panel this evening. Let me go straight across to Tehseen Poonawala, Smita Prakash, Ishkaran Bhandari, Shehzad Poonawala, Sumansi Raman. Let me begin with you first, Tehseen Poonawala. And I have to ask you, the resignations across the board in the Congress, Mr. Tehseen Poonawala, have gathered pace after Priyanka's elevation. Clearly, young leaders feel that merit doesn't count and there is a glass ceiling, and the only people who climb, who ascend to powers of greater responsibility in the Congress party, who have a future in the Congress party, are those that are either blessed by Gandhi DNA or, in fact, are people who want the Gandhis to be in power, in the central helm of things for perpetuity. Tehseen Poonawala. Glass ceiling, frustrating young Turks, whether it is Aditi Singh, whether it is R.P.N., whether it is Scindia, whether it is Sushmita Dev, whether it's Priyanka Chatur, all of us said the same thing.
Good evening, Rahul. Thank you so much for having me on your show, on your panel. And good evening to all the fellow panelists and to all your viewers. At the onset, I'm grateful that you think RPN, and you did mention R.P.N. Singh is a young leader, because he's in age, he's certainly older than Rahul. You're not that complimentary about Rahul's age, but I accept your analysis with humility. Second thing, I also accept this debate that you want to debate the merits of the Gandhi family that all of us do support as supporters of the Congress. But I've never been on any show where the mass exodus from the BJP, whether it is Michael Lobo sitting cabinet minister, whether it is Yashpal Arya, Saini, etc., who are leaving the BJP, sitting ministers who do not have the confidence of winning on a BJP ticket, while the BJP is in power both in the states of Goa, Uttarakhand and Uttar Pradesh, and in the center, they are leaving. That's never a reflection of Amit Shah and Modi's leadership or Nadda's leadership. The question's always asked of Rahul Gandhi. Third, again, very grateful that the BJP took R.P.N. Singh. He's a friend of mine and I wish R.P.N. all the very best. But here's the BJP night after night on Times Now and other channels says that the Congress is filled with dynasts. And yet every single dynast of the Congress is being welcomed in the BJP, which continues to welcome them and give them tickets or wants them to contest on tickets. So now at least I hope the BJP stops talking about dynasty, unless the BJP says our dynasty is better than your dynasty and there's something called good dynasty and bad dynasty, just as the BJP believes there's something called good Taliban and bad Taliban. So I want to end my summary by saying those who have to leave the Congress will leave. Mass leaders of the BJP are coming to the Congress and other parties. The BJP is not going to win Uttarakhand, Goa, Uttar Pradesh, and in 2024 the BJP is going to be ousted politically from this country.
Okay, let me get Shahzad Poonawalla to respond to you straight off. Let's set up this debate with the two principles. Yes, go ahead, Shahzad Poonawalla, respond. You heard the charge.
Look, Rahul, you have to identify what the problem in the Congress party is. Once upon a time during Mahatma Gandhi's time, the party used to be a Parivaar. Today, matra Parivaar sikodkar party ban chuki hai. The Parivaar matters more than the performance of the person. Sycophancy lies above meritocracy in this party, and therefore those leaders who have been stalwarts, Himanta Biswa Sarma, by the way not a dynast, Mr. Pema Khandu, Mr. N. Biren Singh, and a large number of leaders like Satpal Maharaj, they are constantly humiliated because the core of the party is represented by 2.5 leaders who are very insecure about anybody else rising. It is a Kabila mindset that if anybody else rises, I have to cut them, not give them any space. And therefore, see, look, why do people join the BJP? Because of PAT. PAT means P for platform to perform and deliver for the country, A for aspirations, to fulfill their aspirations, to grow for themselves and for their cause that they represent, and T represents that there should be time and team. The time and team is not there in the Congress party anymore. Na neta hai, na niti hai, na netritva hai. As far as dynasty is concerned, I'm glad that Tehseen today has recognized that the dynasty in the Congress is as bad as Taliban. But look, ye baatein badi karte hain. Dynasty kab hota hai? When the topmost post, whether it is Akhilesh Yadav's party, whether it's Congress party, whether it is the party of Lalu Prasad Yadav, it is reserved for one family and one family alone. Whether it's the Prime Minister, Chief Minister or the party president's post. Nobody is saying that people who are children of other leaders can't join politics. They can certainly do, but that doesn't mean that their topmost post will be reserved for them. For instance, the BJP in the last 20 years has had 9 presidents, different presidents. Who knew that Mr. Nadda would be the president? Is it the son of Amit Shah who will be the president? Is it the son of Narendra Modi who will be the child of Narendra Modi who will be the Prime Minister? It is not reserved for anybody. But yes, we know the next president of Congress party will be Robert Vadra's son. We know the next president of Akhilesh Yadav's party will be Akhilesh Yadav's child. We know the next president of Tejaswi's party will be Tejaswi Yadav's child. We know the next president of Kumaraswamy's party will be Kumaraswamy's child. This is the difference between dynasty politics and those who are given a platform to perform. And finally, my question to Tehseen Poonawalla is that 40 odd leaders have left the Congress party and they have all said कि हमें यहाँ पर आज़ादी नहीं मिलती. We don't get internal space to speak about what we have issues. And therefore, they feel like gulam. When they come to us, they become azad and they are allowed to perform. The lack of internal democracy is also a very important issue. Lack of internal elections within the party. ये पूरे देश में बोलते हैं हम democracy चाहते हैं, अपनी पार्टी को democracy free zone बनाकर रखा है.
Let me ask very quickly. Tehseen Poonawalla, it's just, I'm asking you the question. based on what we've just heard and adding one of my own. Ever since Priyanka Gandhi Vadra was elevated in the Congress ranks, we have seen a large number of young Turks leaving. Now, if you believe that R.P.N. Singh doesn't have the stomach for a fight, he was indulging in anti-party activities in the state that he was in charge of, in Jharkhand, etc., etc., why did you make him a star campaigner in Uttar Pradesh? It's a very simple question. Clearly you thought he was up to it. Today you're calling him all sorts of names. You just heard your spokespeople.
Look, there are two issues here. If Shehzad thinks 40 people in 7 years leaving the party is a downfall and a reflection on the Gandhis, over 9 people have left BJP Uttar Pradesh in Uttarakhand and a number of them in Goa, and these are sitting ministers. So that's a reflection on Mr. Modi. But Shehzad will not reflect on Mr. Modi. He'll only reflect on the Gandhis. And no, Shehzad, you're wrong in predicting who will be the next president of the Congress, because the Congress has an election system, one which you could have contested yourself had you chosen to be in the party. But no, you didn't choose to contest the election. Everybody knew Mr. Nadda would be the president. Whoever the RSS chooses would be the president. That's how it works in dictatorial parties. Therefore, Mr. Amit Shah ji can push Mr. Nadda away and walk to the terrace, and that does not happen in the Congress.
Today
but coming to your specific
are
question.
Smiling at Tehseen's... no, Tehseen, please. Look,
5 seconds.
Let's be honest about it. Can you recount for me? Okay, Shehzad wants to come in here because you mentioned him. Yes, Shehzad Punara, quick interjection from your side.
Yeah, 5 seconds, just 5 seconds. Elections in Congress party are just like the elections that are taking place in China. By the way, Ghulam Nabi Azad is on record, Smita ji is here, that last 50 years there has been no elections, and therefore, because of the last 50 years no elections took place, only one family ruled the roost in the last 40 years on the Congress presidency. So please, internal elections and Congress mix as much as drinking and driving.
Okay, well, let's
of course,
open this up.
drinking and driving does not mix, but
a follow-up question for you. 1 second, Shehzad Punala, quick counter question to you.
Sure.
Is this just a show pony exercise? Are you going to field R.P.N. Singh, or is he only a perception-altering pick? Why don't you field him from Padrauna? If he's such a big deal, test him out.
Look, Rahul, first of all, he is a big leader of the OBC community, and therefore it is, and of entire Uttar Pradesh, and therefore the Congress was making him a Prabhari somewhere. He was he had a high post even in the UPA 2 government. He was also the star pracharak. As far as his entry into the party is concerned, it has come without conditions. They have come here to serve the national interest. And yes, if the party thinks that somebody should be given a ticket to contest an election, the highest decision-making body in this regard will take a decision. But that is not the reason why R.P.N. Singh has joined us. R.P.N. Singh ji has joined us because he wants to put India first. Those who want to put Parivaar first are in Congress. Those who put India first are in BJP.
Okay. Let me bring in Smita Prakash. Smita Prakash, Ishkaran Bhandari.
So is Swami Prasad Maurya's daughter putting India first, and the son and the father putting the Parivaar first?
Rahul.
Okay, we'll come back to that.
Swami Prasad Maurya's daughter and Aparna Yadav both are indicating that Modi ji and Yogi ji can give protection to Kheti and Beti in Uttar Pradesh.
Okay, 1 second. Okay, 1 second.
They both are indicating the same thing.
Let's not open this. Okay, 1 second, 1 second, 1 second. 1 second, gentlemen. Okay, Mr. Poonawala's. Okay, Poonawala is divided by both ideology and party. Now 1 second. 30 seconds, please. Let me come in. I know this gets a bit heated. But let me just bring in Smita Prakash. Smita Prakash, this is an important question. Look, we are seeing whether it is Dr. Ajoy Kumar who quit and named another bunch of young leaders. The exits now that are happening without any assurance that these people will be actually given a berth. Even Mr. Scindia had to wait it out for about 1.5 years before he was accommodated at any substantive level in the BJP scheme of things. You have seen others who have left in the parties that they have gone to, they have not immediately been inducted either into government or into any position of fighting elections, etc., etc. All of them have left because they don't see a future, and most of these exits are happening of the young Turks, which is a problem for the Congress, happening when Priyanka has come into the picture. Is there a correlation, or are we just imagining it?
Yeah, one, I think, Rahul, you'll get accused by the Poonawalla brothers of ageism all over again because you're calling them young repeatedly. I think, I don't think, and the other point is that I don't think RPN ever thought that in a debate regarding him, there'll be reference to Mahatma Gandhi or to the Taliban. That's also happened in your debate. You are right that, these guys have come in from other parties into the BJP, and the BJP doesn't give them a carte blanche. It doesn't give them goodies right away. They have to prove their mettle even when they come into the party, cool their heels for a while, and only after that. About your question whether this is because of, the party leaders, many of them young, middle-aged or older, feeling frustrated with the leadership of the Gandhis, probably so, because you saw the older rung leaders, those who were Rajiv Gandhi's buddies, who felt frustrated because, you see, for them there's just one more election left probably before they retire from the scene, and they are not seeing anything happening. 2019 was a washout, and doesn't look like 2024 is going to see the Congress returning to power to form a government on their own. So for them, it's literally end of the road. And as far as the middle rung is concerned, because if you see Scindia, Jitin Prasada and now RPN, they're not really young Turks. They probably were when you and I got into journalism, but not now. They're not young Turks, they are middle-aged. And for them, because they fought 2-3 elections, so for them, they carry the experience of the past, but then the burden of not being able to deliver to their constituents. They are in politics. They have to deliver to their constituents. How many years can they sit in the opposition and not be able to do anything? Now, a generational change is happening in the Congress party. There are young leaders, young men and women who have been brought in by Rahul Gandhi and by Priyanka Gandhi. So, people who were accusing, Tehseen is right in a way. Say about 10 years ago, many people were accusing Rahul Gandhi of having these elite, people from the royal family and things like that around him who were not really delivering for him on the ground, and it was considered that these are people who come in from sophisticated backgrounds, not really having their ears on the ground and not able to deliver victories for him. But then he has now lost out on their support, especially in parliament, and he's lost out on the ground support because the ground level people that he has taken on don't have the experience, have not won him elections, and doesn't look like they're going to win him elections. So the grassroots level workers to some extent are happy that there are some vacancies in the middle rung that has come about because of Scindia leaving, because of RPN leaving, and because of several other people leaving. But it is awkward even for them, because what happens in WhatsApp groups, in social media, the Congress is a butt of all jokes. So when they go home, they realize that how are they going to convince their voters that your Congress is an option? So even in eastern Uttar Pradesh, you were talking about whether RPN is now just being brought in as a trophy or whether he's going to deliver a victory. There are many in the Congress who are saying that he's a coward, he can't deliver a victory because he has lost so many elections. But remember, he went in those elections with what? With the Congress message, with the Congress card. Now if he goes into elections in Padrauna and if he'll be taking on Maurya, he will be going with Modi and Amit Shah backing him in rallies. He will be going, calling him an OBC leader is really a little bit of a stretch. It's like calling Scindia an OBC leader. But still, because of his caste, I guess he does get called an OBC. But still, he will carry much more weightage when he goes into campaign with a BJP ticket as compared to a Congress ticket. That is, if he is the Padrauna candidate.
If he is a Padrauna, there is no at this moment communication on that, though it's highly unlikely. We are hearing from our sources. In fact, just having a conversation with a colleague of mine, Padmaja Joshi, and she was mentioning that as of now, very slim prospects of RPN Singh contesting, and perhaps even if he were to, there are others who are saying that even if he were to, he may not be able to trump Mr. Maurya even on a BJP ticket. So there is of course, all of that to consider. But I just want to ask Mr. Dr. Sumansi Raman and Ishkaran Bhandari now. Let me draw them in. If the young in the party are restless, Dr. Raman, and let's be objective about this tonight. Forget about the BJP. Yeah, let's talk about the Congress. Is it a sign that they don't believe the Congress or the Gandhis are either the party or the leaders of the future? That's a question that I want to put to you.
Yeah, Rahul, first of all, what the Congress needs to turn things around are 2 or 3 electoral victories, at least in some of the states. If they can win at least 3 of the 5 states in the forthcoming election, then the way we look at the Congress as sort of writing the obituary of the party, that will be put on hold for a while. Having said that, I find it amusing that Mr. R.P.N. Singh is being described as some kind of mass leader of OBCs and all that. But look, on a lighter note, Rahul, Doon School, the next time you get somebody from the Doon School into the Congress, they should think twice before giving them a post. Whether it is Jitin Prasada, whether it is Yogi Adityanath, or whether it is R.P.N. Singh, they don't seem to be teaching teaching loyalty in that school. Now, the point I want to make, which you made about Scindia, is incorrect. Scindia was given his minister's post later, but he was made a Rajya Sabha MP within 3 months. Within 3 months, he was made 3 or 4 months. He was made a Rajya Sabha member of Parliament through the BJP. So it's not correct to say that they're all made to wait and come through for years of work for the party and all that. These are people who have clearly shown that they do not have the stomach for a fight, and it is certainly error of judgment on the part of the Congress leadership who have believed that they would have had stomach for a fight.
So till yesterday they had a stomach for a fight. Till yesterday they had a stomach for a fight. Today they suddenly have lost the appetite for a fight, but they're going into a party which is on the decline. No, hang on. So all the intelligentsia that loads up against the BJP says that the BJP is losing in Uttar Pradesh. So clearly R.P.N. Singh is taking a huge leap of faith by joining a losing party. I mean, you have said yourself that the Yogi has done nothing and the BJP is going to eat crow in 1 month.
Had there been a mega alliance against the BJP in Uttar Pradesh, I very much doubt whether
Okay, see, we've got to
left.
Okay.
But at the moment, BJP is ahead in Uttar Pradesh. Who can deny that? And he expects.
Okay, you think so? Okay, let me bring in Ishkaran Bhandari. Ishkaran Bhandari, I don't know which argument to sometimes pick on, because just till yesterday he was a star campaigner. So clearly he had the appetite for a fight, and he was obviously standing next to Priyanka Gandhi and swearing allegiance. Maybe they should have.
It's Doon School's fault.
1 second. Yes. Okay. Yeah, Doon School's fault. Well, I don't know. Did Rahul Gandhi go to Doon School by any chance? Because he might also then be disqualified. Let's check that. I don't know if he went or not, but I know his father did. But let me bring in Ishkaran Bhandari. Mr. Bhandari, it's Doon School's fault. Nothing to do with the Gandhis. We found another scapegoat for the Congress party now. Go ahead.
Rahul,
Doon School's fault. Poor Doon School.
Rahul, firstly, a line on Congress election. It reminds me of that Hindi saying, "Andha bante revdi mud mud apne ko de." That is typified by the Congress president's post. But on a narrow, if you look at a narrow lens, is it about Swami Prasad Maurya versus R.P.N. Singh? Is it about Purvanchal? Is it about OBC leadership? Is it about damage to Congress? Those are all very narrow lenses to look at. I want to look at it as a citizen with a wider lens. The problem we are facing in this country is every country requires a good opposition. Every country wants an opposition party to hold the government to account. What do we have in opposition in India? A person who 2014 takes it to a historic defeat, then in 2019 loses his own seat, yet in 2022 he is still being called he would be the Congress president, or he will decide who will be the Congress president. Tell me one functioning democracy in the world where you lose not one, but 2 elections, and still you will be the party president, or there will be a working president and you won't elect it. That is the fate of Indian democracy with Rahul Gandhi-led Congress party. Of course, the people left. You could call Himanta Biswa Sarma a coward. Today, you called R.P.N. Singh a coward. A person who delivers for BJP a demographically very difficult state. Give him his due. Then you have people like Captain Amrinder, who 2017 withstand the Modi wave, which was in Uttarakhand and UP, and deliver for Congress, Punjab. Then you have people like Sushmita Dev, Jitin Prasada, too many to name here. All of them have left. But problem is in all of them. Problem is not in Rahul Gandhi. If that is the analysis, then congressmen have suffered, they will leave. But the real sufferer will be the citizen of this country who will not get a good opposition in this country.
एक प्रॉब्लम है ये डून स्कूल थीसिस के साथ. राहुल गांधी was in Doon school between 80 and 83. That's what our researchers have told us. So maybe he should
Rahul
also.
Gandhi's degrees are a very controversial
81 and 83. 81 and 83. So 3 years. So this analysis won't work, Dr. Raman. Maybe you're suggesting that Rahul will betray his own party. Maybe he is by not moving away. Some people would say that. Let me bring in Ashutosh Mishra. Ashutosh Mishra. A simple question to you, sir, and it's a question that perhaps a lot of people will be asking. If the BJP is a sinking ship, why is R.P.N. Singh going to a sinking ship? He's better off in the Congress. The Congress says we are winning, Yogi is useless, he's wrecked. All of Uttar Pradesh, people are going to teach him a lesson. Why would he be joining? Isn't there a shine of confidence in Yogi?
So if you had listened to R.P.N. Singh's press conference today, he took all the names except of Adityanath Yogi. He thanked everyone from Amit Shah to Nadda and the Deputy Chief Ministers, but never took the name of Adityanath Yogi. So let us be clear, he has no faith in Adityanath Yogi. He's more of Amit Shah's man. And maybe now when he was feeling sidelined in Congress, BJP said, we need, we are short of bench strength, and we also need some to show people that people are joining us. And they took one of the non-performers here.
Okay.
So Smita Prakash was talking, about
very quickly, Shadab Punawala, quick response,
what will they
and
go
then I
to
need to take a
constituent.
short break.
So if that theorem was taken, then what would have Atal Bihari Vajpayee done?
I'm glad.
People who have faith in ideology stick with that.
Okay.
And obviously
Rahul.
these people who are living Congress don't have that faith.
Okay.
So he's a feckless
Rahul.
leader, has no faith.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, very quick. Feckless RPN, show pony for you. Yes.
Rahul, Rahul, I did not know that people who have no mass base or are such lightweights amid star pracharaks in Congress. But I want to ask one question. This is not about Doon school. It's about doom school. The doom is set in the Congress party, but these people refuse to wake up. And there is that muhavra कि ता उम्र तहसीन और दरबारी यही करते रहे, धूल चेहरे पर थी, तहसीन और दरबारी आईना साफ करते रहे. Ask him what is the neta, niti or netritwa in the Congress party. On one hand, you are taking Kanhaiya Kumar and losing R.P.N. Singh, and you're saying हाँ बहुत बड़ा अच्छा लीडर मिल गया कन्हैया कुमार में, टुकड़े टुकड़े पोस्टर बॉय मिल गए, हमें बहुत अच्छा रहा, and you're losing हिमंता बिस्वा शर्मा and you're losing R.P.N. Singh and you're saying ये कायर चले गए और अच्छे लोग आ गए. This is the state of Congress.
Because यहाँ पे अब उसको मलाई खाने को नहीं मिलेगी. तो ये चाहे ज्योतिरादित्य सिंधिया हो, चाहे R.P.N. सिंह हो, चाहे जितिन प्रसाद, they are दरबारी. पहले वो कांग्रेस के दरबार में माथा टेकते थे, अब उनको लगता है कि बीजेपी के दरबार में जाओ तो मलाई मिलेगी, वहां गए हैं.
Okay. So the basic question is, viewers, and this is the question, since someone has used this term, Darbaris, the real question is, who are the real cowards today in the Congress party? Those that are burying the Antony Committee report to keep the Gandhi flag flying, or is it those that are exiting the party? Very quickly, I want Smita Prakash to answer this in less than 1 minute. Smita Prakash, who are the real cowards?
Look, I don't think you can label any of these people who are leaving the party as a coward. I mean, if you were going to label people who left the Congress as a coward, then you will have to start with C. Rajgopalachari. He left the Congress. You have to name Mufti Mohammad Saeed, TMC, Mamta Banerjee. You have to Jagan Mohan Reddy, Morarji Desai, Charan Singh, Jagjeevan Ram. Are all these people cowards for having left the Congress? And I'm not even naming those people who left the Congress like Pranab Mukherjee, Arjun Singh, N.D. Tiwari, and even Chidambaram for that extent. Okay. They merged their parties with the Congress. But are you going to name the earlier ones that I named? Are they cowards? No, they leave the party not because they're scared to lose. They leave the party because it is not what they joined for. The ideology gets watered down. They make compromises in the party. They feel it is getting lost, and that is the reason why people leave the party. And as far as saying that he's a feckless leader and he's useless and things like that, do you know the number of posts he held?
Yeah. Okay, that's an important point. Very quick, Ishkaran Bhandari, you were raising your hand, 30 seconds. I need to move on. Ishkaran Bhandari, who are the real cowards? Who are the real cowards?
I think real cowards.
Who are the real cowards? Ishkaran Bhandari.
I believe the label coward, if you have to fit at somebody, would be those people who believe in Congress, are in Congress, but cannot challenge an incompetent dynasty.
Okay. Okay, viewers, Rahul, you heard a wide spectrum of views. Take away what you want. Yeah. Okay.
Rahul, somebody summed it up very nicely on Twitter today, saying that these leaders leaving are leaves falling off a tree, except that the leaves are not falling off fast enough for the new shoots to grow.
Okay. I thought you were going to... Sorry, excuse my cheekiness. Excuse my cheekiness. Excuse my cheekiness. I thought you were going to be talking about the Sonia joke on Twitter. Okay, I move on, viewers. I move on. That's interesting. That's very interesting.